whatever path you are on, whatever inspired you to come here today, we honor you and we welcome you. And now, our message.
Let me get myself together here. My name is Lyle. I know everybody in here. So as you know, or maybe you don't, so I'm going to tell you, the theme for our month, this month, is attraction. And I picked the title for my talk some time ago, and I called it, Are We Attractive?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Okay, I mean that in two different ways. Yes, you're a very handsome group. But I also mean it in a non-physical way. I mean, so many years ago, Billy Crystal, if you know who Billy Crystal is, and he was on Saturday Night Live, and he used to do a skit where he was dressed up, and as I recall it, he was always looking kind of dapper, and he affected a kind of an accent, which I will attempt to do. So you are free to laugh at me along with it. But the skit that he did, he would get people on there and he would interview them, and one of his famous lines was always this thing about, he would say, "You know, it's not important how good or what you do. What is important is how you look. And you look marvelous." So that was kind of how he did it. And it was, "You look marvelous." So I think at that time it was a commentary on the times. It was in Hollywood or in New York where they did Saturday Night Live. And it really was more about how you looked than what you did in the world. How you looked more than what you do. So are you attractive? Yes, you are. You are also attractive like gravity. You attract things to you. You see, you do need to look the part of you, who you are. And what we see is what you want us to see. Somewhere in your life you made a decision that what was most important, and you have for the most part over the years, and most of the time, played that part to a T. So what you look like is important somewhere to you. And you see, we are a compilation of all of your past decisions, everything that you have done and said and felt before. April and I did a little demonstration. I don't even know if she remembers it. Some time ago, I had her come up, and one at a time, I placed playing cards in her hand. There's a decision you made. Here's a belief you have. Here is something you did. One after the other, after the other. And that is compiling up until you have a large pile of these cards, and that's who you are. It's all of these past decisions you made so that you look a certain way, so that you appear a certain way. It was compiling up to make you, the you that exists today. Until here you are, the perfect compiled you. And the truth is, who you are could be no other way. What you are, who you are, And what you look like right now could be no other way. And that's why sometimes I always say, you are perfect, whole and complete, just as you are. It could be no other way. Yet there is something inside of you. There is something inside of all of us. Sometimes something that we're not always aware of. A truth about yourself that you don't always let out. Not a scary you that you're keeping hidden inside, but a spiritual you. And when you see that you, and I think we have all had moments when we see that us, those heart moments, when you've touched your soul, and sometimes it just makes you weep. This pure love, this pure joy that you feel, that comes from the inside, the real you. Not always what we see. That's there too. That's part of the perfect you. We just don't always let it out. We have a certain predetermined idea of what is attractive in the physical, and we show that. And sometimes for our own reasons, we hide that. And sometimes we let our ego drive and control and protect us. But again, I say, you are perfect, whole and complete, just as you are. You have created you. Then I ask, so how did I get here? How did we get here? How did you get there? So I wanted to talk a little bit about that other part of it, that attractive metaphysical world. In the realm of spirit, in the realm of the universe where the laws of attraction, gravity, cause and effect, where all of those things are at work. The things that make you, you. And sometimes without actually your conscious awareness, but still using the laws of attraction. Quite often, and today I'm going to, I like to throw in a little story, sometimes about my life, myself, make a point. So I'm going to do that. Some of you know, maybe all of you know, that a couple of weeks ago I retired. That's what you're saying. So I've been doing this, I had been doing that job for 40 some years. And it wasn't an arduous, long, hard, I hated 40 years. It was 40 years of a love for what I was doing. Where I enjoyed Monday morning so I could go back to it. What had happened was early in my life, 7th grade, I'm getting some feedback, so I need you. Kelly's going to help me out. Maybe I'm near a speaker. Should I move away?
I think maybe from
There we go. So when I was in junior high in the 7th and 8th grade, they had this program at this particular school I was going to, and in this program they said, you have an elective for every portion of a quarter. And this elective could be anything you chose it to be. And it was a plan to see if you could find what you loved. And it gave everybody an opportunity just to try many things out for the 6-week period, 4-week period, forget what it was. So I took an elective of, auto mechanics. Didn't I? It was greasy. It was dirty. So that didn't work for me. I didn't like that. I tried out, drafting. You know, you have to really be able to draw straight lines. And that didn't work for me. I tried doing metal work, you know, we build these things and pack sand and then try and pour molds, and mine always fell apart. That didn't work for me. Music, didn't work for me. Couldn't carry a tone, right, harmony. You know, I don't even know what the words are. Woodworking I kind of liked. I built this chess set. And as I made mistakes and cut and measured once and should have measured twice and cut, and I ended up with a nice little chessboard, but it was supposed to be this big. That wasn't it. And then I took this electronics course. And they had us build this. I had got a toilet paper roll, an empty toilet paper roll, a little piece of cardboard thing. We wrapped it real tight with a copper wire, hooked up a couple speakers, and 3 or 4 components on it. And I laid this armature on there, this little dial, and went across there. It's like staticky, just like nothing. And then all of a sudden, just like, I don't know from where, there was a radio station. Picked up this voice. It was one of those, oh my God moments. It was the beginning of my love affair with electronics. And I was thinking when I was writing this story down, and I was thinking about, now, Allie and I stand up here and we talk to you about science of mind and power of thought and mind-body connection, and you create your life and you manifest things into your life, and you're responsible for what happens to you, the connection of you to God, you to Spirit, and all of those things. And sometimes that oneness, that metaphysical thing that we're trying to explain sounds a little bit woo-woo, we say, a little bit out there, a little bit non-comprehensible. Well, let me tell you something. A radio station coming out of a paper toilet roll, now that's woo-woo. That was mind-blowing. That was my beginning into electronics, and that was something, after that happened, it's like it was one of those things, and maybe you're on a spiritual path right now with this, trying to figure out life. I was trying to figure out electronics. I was trying to figure out, how does it work? How does this happen? Where does this come from? How is this even possible? Yet once I understood it, after I had taken some classes, and once I understood electronics and how it worked, and radio waves, and all those few components I added in there, and what they did, and how they did it, things started to make some sense. And that's kind of like what I do now. I've retired from that. But understanding life and our connection to it, it can be daunting. And maybe that's why we're here, to maybe try and understand that a little bit better. But I'm talking about the law of attraction, so something had attracted me to that. Something had really touched the soul part of me that got really excited about something that I loved. And things of like kind were attracted into my life. And some of those things are, well, when I turned 18, the Army attracted me into it. Now that may not have been one of my life choices to say, here, I need to do this is what's attracting me, but in a matter of fact it was. They put me into a training, and I worked in the Signal Corps, and they taught me radio repair. How wonderful was that? So then when I came out of the Army, I had some knowledge and some understanding. Now, my neighbors and my parents didn't appreciate my laws of attraction because their TVs were breaking. So I would get their TV and I would take it and tear it apart and fix it and get it working and give it back. And then our neighbor's TV stopped working. I would take that and fix it. Seems odd, maybe, but these were things I really feel I was attracting into my life. We talked about it, or Mark talked about it when he read about the laws of attraction, that you attract of like kind into your life. And the universe works that way. Your thoughts and your emotions and the power of that energy, that the universe is a vibrational universe and you're a vibrational being, and when those two vibrations meet, there's an attraction. And they bring of like kind to you. So I believe that the universe was rushing in to fill and match the energies that I was putting out, my desires to learn in that field. And everything made itself evident and clear to me. Now here's another big one. At this time in my life also, this was another big law of attraction for me. I was taking a class, and in that class I met a fellow, and we became friends. We weren't a lot alike. Our age difference was quite different and everything, so nothing that we would normally be friends, but we became friends. And he had a girlfriend. And his girlfriend had a friend. And that friend is Claire. You may have heard me speaking about her. She's my wife. So we got together on a blind date. And then that fellow and that gal that had brought us together, they broke up and separated and went somewhere else. And Claire and I had been together for 40 years. There was something bringing this together. I think it was something more than just coincidence, more than just people go on blind dates all the time. It happens all the time. No, I think it was more than that. I think there was something working in the universe to bring that about. And I often think about this fellow and this gal and how they were brought together to bring us together, and then they went their own ways just to create this perfect union. And then classes, like I said, I was taking that I was attracted to, there were openings for an electronics firm that I got a job with, and that was the job that I stayed in for 40 years. And the strange thing about this law of attraction and me getting into electronics and meeting Claire and doing all of that and everything that worked so well for us for 40 years, something else happened. For 40 years I loved that job. Everything was great. Brought me opportunities, other jobs to learn, things that I expanded my knowledge of the field and grew and expanded and became an engineer. But then something changed. I started to become upset or dissatisfied with things that were happening. Things that had been happening for 40 years, all of a sudden, they were making me mad. They were upsetting me. Things were bugging me. That had never bugged me before. And I wondered where that came from. And I acquired a bad attitude. Where did that come from? Why did that happen? I think, too, the universe working with this law of attraction, these laws of energy and cause and effect, and things that were me putting out energies and vibrations and emotions because I needed to move on and do something different. And I knew it, even if it was subconsciously. So I created discomforts and dis-ease and things that needed to be changed. And the universe and the company accommodated me. They started doing things to force me out, it felt like. It was time for me to move on. And then you all showed up. You came into my life. This was where I wanted to be. So did you attract me or did I attract you? Yes. Yes. And that's how this has come about. And then it's like, oh, now, here's my new passion. Here is my calling. This is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. And I was able to easily and effortlessly leave that other thing that I thought I would do forever with good feelings, because I knew I was being moved and motivated to another thing. Those discomforts that I had, those other feelings that I had were life lessons. They were like these opportunities that had come to show me, you need to move in this direction. That was how I saw life working. I saw the universe as an intelligent universe. I saw spirit working in my life. I saw God working in my life, moving me in another direction. And moved other things of like vibration and frequency into my life to match up with those. This is the law of attraction. This is what happens in the universe when you put those thoughts, those emotions out there. See, I had stopped paying attention to the things that work, to that reality and that discomfort, and I started looking at what was in my reality. What was I giving attention to? And as I gave more attention to any of that discomfort, you know what I got? More discomfort. So what I started doing was moving my attention to the Satya Center, to the Ogden community, to you, and saying, this is where my heart's desire is. This is where I want to expand and grow. This is where I want to share and be. And then things started moving in that direction. Things became very clear and very evident, and it became very possible for me to make that move easily. You see, anything you give your attention to is an invitation to the essence of that thing to grow. Whatever that thing is you're giving your attention to, whether you in your mind feel it's a good thing or a bad thing, whatever you give your attention to has a tendency to grow. That's the law of attraction. Our attention is what makes us attractive. See, if you say, I want money, but I know it's not out there, but I want it. You know what you're attracting? I am attracting the absence of money. Because I know it's not there, and that's my emotion, and that's my attention. So I'm not attracting money by saying I want money, even though I subconsciously maybe feel it's not there for me. So that's what I'm going to attract, the absence of money. So whatever side of this you're thinking of attraction, see, the universe doesn't care. Doesn't pick sides or judge. You want proof of that? I'll match that vibration. I'll match that energy. I'll create more of that. So the other day I was listening to Abraham on vibrational beings and the laws of attraction. Abraham said, we are vibrational beings living in a vibrational universe. Gravity, magnetics, radio waves, all that stuff, light, that's all energy. And they interact with each other. They have effect on each other. Light traveling through space is affected by gravity, by the mass of bodies in space. And we, as spiritual beings, are energy. When you break us down to the molecular structure of what we are energy. So we interact with all of this, with light and energy and frequencies and vibrations. We live in a physical world with very real needs and thoughts and desires, which are vibrational in nature. So how do we activate the law of attraction? How do we attract what we desire into our lives? And according to Abraham and what I was listening to, he called it, beat the drum. Beat the drum. Create the vibration you desire. Over and over and over again. He said, the more you do, the more you activate it in your own physical vibration. And the universe's vibration matches it. And matches you up with things like it. And the more you're matched up to it, the more you're likely to observe it. And the more you observe it, the more you talk about it. You feel it. You emote it. The more you talk about it, the more you beat the drum. With that thought, that energy, that vibration, whatever that is. And the more you beat the drum, the more you observe it. And the more you observe it, the more you talk about it. And the more you talk about it, the more you beat the drum. And the more you beat the drum, the more you're matched up with that vibration. And the more you are matched up with it, the more you are living it. And it goes on and on and on. Beat the drum. Create the vibration. And let the universe work with you to create. The point is that you can keep telling the same story. Whether it's through words or deeds or thoughts, you can keep telling the same story. And you're going to live the same circumstances. What is going to change it? What is going to change the circumstances? What it comes down to is he called it the art of telling a different story. That is the way you activate the law of attraction in order to get what you want. Now there are many different levels of what you want and what you desire, and we have done classes and things on this, and so that's why it's always to get in some depth is to take classes with Allie or soon maybe me. Because sometimes what you want you confuse with something else. I remember when I was first starting my classes and we were living in a town that was a long ways, 70 plus miles away from the nearest center that was going to teach those classes I wanted to take. And I had an old pickup truck and it was not going to make that ride to get the information I wanted. So I went to a practitioner and we sat in session and he said, what is it you're looking for? I'm looking for a new car. I want you to treat for me to get me a new car so I can make this trip to get this class, this knowledge that I wanted. And he said, no, we're not going to treat for a new car. But we are going to treat for you to get the vehicle for your training, whatever that may look like. 2 weeks later, the town I was living in, there was a very small center. They hired a minister that had come from San Diego and had the training and the ability to teach the class I was looking for. She was the vehicle. Wasn't the car I needed. So you have to look sometimes at what it is you want. I wanted a car. No, I wanted the freedom, or I wanted the training or the teaching. It wasn't the car I wanted. So sometimes you have to take a deeper look at what it is you want. And if you're activating the law of attraction, you don't want to look at what you want. Emotionally, in the heart, what it is that you need? What is your true desire? So in order to get what you want and not what you're observing, you have to be careful with that. Now some people will say, I'm telling you my story and I'm just telling you this. I'm just telling you the truth. So don't say anything. This is my truth. This is truth. You can't refute my truth. And Abraham says, be careful with that. That's a slippery slope. He said that sometimes is just a poor excuse because there are so many truths in the world only because someone gave it attention. Someone talked about it. The universe responded, and the attention was matched, and the drum was beat, and it attracted, and it became evident. It became manifest. It became a truth. Is it really a truth? Yes and no. Someone, you, me, collective consciousness, gave it attention and it came. You see, you are attractive. And you are attractive. Beat the drum. Create the experience you desire. Create your truth. And so the lesson begins. Let us close in some prayer. Just become still for a moment and realize that there is a source greater than you in this universe and you can use it. It is universal creativity. It is universal intelligence. It is ultimate reality. It is the source of all things. It is creation. And you are part of it. You are the energy. You are the vibration. You are operating in a vibrational universe. And you make a difference. You create. You manifest. Your experiences are yours. You are responsible for those. Every moment of every day, you are one with the universe, with God, with Spirit, with the intelligence that is the source of all. And when you know that, and when you use that, you create. So today, tomorrow, next week, for the rest of your life, know that you make a difference. You choose, you create, you vibrate, and you attract to you things of like kind. Think with your heart. Make a difference. You are one with God. You are powerful beyond your belief. You are energy, and you are more. You are love. You are lovable. You are loving. Know this for yourself. Know your truth. And create your tomorrow. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you so much. I heard someone sorry.
Thank you for blessing us with your presence today and being a part of the Satya Center. You're invited to join Reverend Allie and Reverend Lyle each Sunday morning at 10 a.m. for your dose of connection, inspiration, and co-creation. The Satya Center is located at 795 24th Street, Ogden, Utah. For directions, a map, and our service times, please see our website, thesatyacenter.org. This program was brought to you by the kind donations from the members of the Satya Center. Thank you.